welcome to Bus Safety. Today we're going to be doing the 4B rule. Morning everybody, welcome to Bus Safety. So today we're going to be learning about the 4B rule, and our first rule is be safe. Imagine now that you're all waiting for the bus, and as the bus starts to pull up, what is the most dangerous part of that bus as it's pulling towards you?
You could get hit by it.
You could get hit by it. But if you're standing there, what happens if imagine now if somebody decides, oh, I want to get on the bus first, and they start pushing to get to the front. What part of that bus could be very dangerous to you then, if you're at the side here?
The wheel could be dangerous.
The wheel, absolutely. Look at the size of that wheel. Would you want that running over any bit of you? Absolutely not. So when we're waiting for the bus, like you are now, we want to be nice and far back from that bus, making sure that we wait until that bus has stopped. When that bus has stopped, how many of us at a time are going to get on that bus? One at a time. Not 45 people trying to squeeze through that gap. We know that's not going to work. So one at a time, because we don't want anybody falling and tripping as they're entering the bus, okay? It's the same now when you've finished your journey and you get off the bus and you think, ooh, I need to cross the road. Would it be better for us to cross in front of the bus or behind the bus? Let's have a little think. What do you think?
Maybe you can cross in front of the bus because the bus driver can see you.
Okay. When you cross in front of that bus, the bus driver might see you, but what happens is the bus is very flat in the front, and if you're walking in front of it and the bus driver's quite high up, you might not be able to be seen. And what about the cars that follow the bus? What do they like to do? Yeah, they want to overtake that bus. They don't want to be sat behind the bus that's going to stop and start. So they want to go round the bus. So when they see the bus stop, they start going round the bus. You go out to the front, put your head out to see what's coming. It's too late, guys. We're not going to cross in front of the bus. So would it be better then to cross behind the bus? What do you think?
Maybe you could cross behind the bus because then the cars behind can see you.
Yes, the cars behind might be able to see you, but will that bus driver see you? Will the bus driver see you right behind the bus? Have you seen those signs that say, if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you? It means that they won't be able to see you. And the cars on this side of the road coming down, they're not going to see you until you do the same thing and pop out to have a look. It's a bit of a trick question. I was being a bit naughty there. So what do you think we should do? If we're not going to cross in front and we're not going to cross behind, what's the best thing to do?
Maybe wait for the bus to go.
Wait for that bus to go. It's a big vehicle. We can't see through it. So the safest thing for us to do is to wait. Once the bus has pulled away, you've got a lovely clear line of sight of the road and you can see exactly where and when it's safe to cross. Deal? Great. So that's why we need to be standing exactly like you are now, right back away from that bus, making sure that you wait for that bus to stop. And once the bus has stopped, that's when you can start getting on the bus, okay? We're going to go on the bus one at a time without pushing and shoving. Okay, so we did the first B rule outside, be safe, and we've come in now, we're going to do our second B rule, which is belt up. So what do you think I need you to do now? Come on. Seat belts on. So pop your seat belts on. So we all know why we wear a seatbelt. It keeps us nice and safely in our seat. Imagine if I was travelling on the bus and there was someone kneeling up on the seat and they were looking over and looking at their friends and chatting, didn't have their seatbelt on, and that bus stopped suddenly. Where's that person going to go? Go on then.
You could fall to the front of the bus and go through the window.
Might come travelling down this way. Might get thrown backwards. Where else could they go?
You could hit your head on the top of the seat.
Absolutely. They could come over the top of the next seat and hit their head. Imagine if they came over the top of the seat and hit perhaps your head. And then because they're going to be keeping going at the speed that the bus was travelling because they haven't got their seatbelts to stop them, and they might come and maybe, oh, sorry, their knee's gone into your face. Would you want to be responsible for hurting someone in that way because you've chosen not to? No, absolutely. So that's why it's really important when we're travelling chatting to our friends, that's great, but we wear our seatbelts and make sure they keep us safely in our seats, okay? So our third little B rule is behave. Now, why do you think it's important that we would need to behave when we're travelling on the bus? Why do you think it's important?
We could distract the driver.
Well done. My favourite word, distract. You could be distracting the driver. If that driver's driving the bus and he's got to keep looking in the mirror, or she's looking over her shoulder to have a look, what's going on behind? What are they not keeping an eye on?
The road?
The road, absolutely. And there's so much traffic and it's very dangerous and there's lots of noise. We want to make sure that that driver is keeping his eye on the road. Now, a long time ago, there was an accident on a school bus which led to all these sorts of safety things that we do now, where two boys were out of their seats. They were messing around, distracting the driver a little bit. He was looking to see what was going on, and somehow they were coming down the bottom of the bus, and the driver was driving, and as he was looking, one of them fell. And what do you think he could have fallen against that would have made it dangerous?
The steering wheel?
Absolutely, that is what happened. He fell against, and as he fell, he tried to steady himself, and he grabbed hold of the steering wheel. Well, it took a split second for that bus driver to lose control of that bus, and that bus started to go off the road, and it was tipping at a bit of an angle, when bang, it got stopped by a tree. If you look at the picture, you can see that the bus is on its side, held up by the tree. Now, lots of people were injured on that bus because a long, long time ago, they didn't have any seat belts on the school buses that we travel on. And people have campaigned to make sure that we can get seat belts on those buses now. And there was one little boy who was sitting at the top, and unfortunately, he had really bad injuries and he passed away. So nobody wants to think of anything like that happening again. And we're really lucky because we've got lots of safety things in place when we're travelling on the bus, okay? But we need to make sure that we're the ones that are not distracting the driver or out of our seats without seatbelts. And if you are travelling on the bus and you think, oh, I don't think what that person's doing is very safe, you need to tell somebody about that. Who could you tell? Who could you report that to?
The teacher?
You could tell the teacher when you get to school, yeah. Anybody else you could tell? Go on then.
Parents?
Yeah, you could tell your parents, and your parents could contact the bus company or the school to talk about it.
Bus driver?
Yeah, bus driver. Would we get up and tell the bus driver? No, we'd wait for that bus to be stopped and maybe have a little word. There are lots of places that we can report it, and in our code of conduct, especially when you be going up to secondary school, it tells you all about what to do and how to behave and who to report things to. And it's really important that you feel that you can do that so we can make sure that we keep everyone nice and safe, okay, when we're travelling on the bus. Okay, so talking about safety, imagine if we did have to get off this bus in a bit of a hurry. I want to talk about our fourth little rule, which is be aware. And I would want you to be aware that if we had to evacuate the bus for whatever reason, you'd know where the emergency exits are, okay? So where are the emergency exits on this bus? Okay.
Through the back door?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a door right at the back of the bus. Anywhere else?
Through the front door?
Yeah, we've got a door down here as well at the front of the bus. Any other way we can get out of this bus?
Go through the roof?
Ah, up here. Yeah, these are the sort of skylights. They're quite important, aren't they? When would we use those then? Because they're right on top of the bus. When do you think we'd want to use those?
Maybe if the bus is toppled over.
Absolutely. If the bus had toppled onto its side, that's when we'd use those. And I'll come back to how we get out of those in just a second, because there's one other way I think that we've forgotten that we can get out of.
You could hit the window with the hammer.
Well done, absolutely. Look at me, I've got one here. It's called a shock hammer. Now, it doesn't look very big, does it? But it's got a metal tip on it, and it's called a shock hammer. So where would be the best place, you think, that we would want to hit that hammer to make sure that it breaks that glass? Okay.
The four corners.
Absolutely. Because we're not going to smash that window out. What we want to do is if you tap the four corners of the glass, it sends cracks running through it. And then that weakens the glass. And because it's a safety glass, and it's got a special film holding the two bits together, and it's set on the outside of the bus, if you work together, maybe lying back, putting your feet up. If you give it a really good push, that's designed to come out in one whole piece. Okay, but we do say windows, a bit of a last resort, because if we could use the doors, that would be the best option. And going back to what you said about using this up here, the skylight, if it was on its side, some of them have got little release hatches. Others, you would do the same. You would break the glass the same as you would, because it would be on the side of the vehicle then. Okay, brilliant, well done. So imagine if we had a fire on this bus. How long do you think it would take for fire to burn right through this bus? How long do you think?
2.5 minutes.
Ooh, quite close. It's not. In fact, it is just a few minutes. Why do you think it would burn so quickly? Why do you think?
It's not far for it to travel.
It isn't. It's quite confined in here. But there's something about this bus that would.
Material.
Yeah, because there's lots of material and carpet and that. So we're lucky. These things don't happen very often. But we'd want to make sure that we could get out as quick as we possibly could, wouldn't we? Oh, wow, we've got a bit of smoke here, guys. We need to evacuate the bus, please. Right, okay, well done, guys. So we're going to remember the 4B rule. Be safe, belt up, behave and be aware. Well done. Keep yourselves nice and safe. Thanks very much.